Hey guys, welcome back to The Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today and checking the video out. And guys, today I want to talk about how you develop something to work on the water hour by hour. In other words, how you piece together a good day on the water. Because normally what happens is when you have a productive day, everything just sort of falls in place. It's not really a plan that you have, but you try stuff, something doesn't work, and you make an adjustment, and little by little you pick away with that. And what I want to do in today's video is I want to use this as an example. You may have seen it on the other channel, but yesterday I won the Solo Pro Top 100 tournament at Lake of the Ozarks after a horrifically bad practice. So I sort of want to go over how, on an hour by hour basis, I was able to put together that win and how you put together a good bag on the water incrementally. So we're going to get into that in today's video. This is a really important video because when you're talking about, having a good day on the water, there's a lot of variables that determine that, and you have to be aware. You have to take advantage of those opportunities. So sort of going to dig into that in today's video here. Also, guys, before we get started, just two quick things to remind you of. Anybody interested in booking a private one-on-one on the water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat, and shoot me a private message for details. And then finally, guys, thank you very much for everybody that's been taking time to use and bookmark my Tackle Warehouse link in every video description. If you like the Fishing Teacher here and you're getting something out of it, and you have to purchase your tackle, if you just go into any of my video descriptions, I've got it in there. Tackle Warehouse link, that's my personal link. If you use that, the channel gets credit for the purchase you make and gets a small percentage of a commission from anybody using that link. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate that, guys. Okay, let's talk about how this unfolds, man. How a good day unfolds. Fishing is different every single day. It doesn't make any difference what you caught yesterday, what you caught a week ago. It doesn't even make any difference what you caught an hour ago. It's like you have got to fish in the moment with the information accessible that you have in order to put together a good day. And these good days, when you talk about somebody that wins a tournament or has a good bag of fish, there's a lot that goes into it. It's usually something that just doesn't happen easy. It's usually something that's like the angler is presented with an opportunity, and then the angler capitalizes on that opportunity immediately. And that's what you have to do. It's like you have to be aware that an opportunity exists, and you have to take advantage of that without hesitation. So let me sort of roll through, like yesterday, what happened to me, how the very thing I'm talking about in this video, how it actually came to manifest for myself. Okay, without going into the practice and everything, I'm going to run by how my tournament day went from me not having hardly any confidence to wind up winning the tournament. Because when I went into that tournament yesterday morning, I had a terrible practice. I zeroed 2 weeks before in the tournament at Lake of the Ozarks, so my confidence was not the greatest. It was pretty low. So here's how you develop going from that point to 7-8 hours later winning the tournament. This is how it happens. In this particular tournament, I had this notion, this mindset that I wanted to flip docks. That's how I wanted to catch them. I figured since the bass were coming off the spawn, there were still a lot of fish using that shallow cover around docks. That's how I've caught a lot of good fish at Lake of the Ozarks. I was going to flip a jig and a creature bait around docks. That was my plan. So I had 4 flipping sticks on the deck of my boat, and I had a chatterbait and I had a crankbait, squarebill crankbait. Didn't really plan. I had the squarebill crankbait and the chatterbait out there for just like an opportunity. Like if something looked good, excuse me, I might toss it around there. I think allergies, man, killing me right now. We got so much pollen on the cars and hacking, eyes swole up. So anyway, the crankbait and the chatterbait was not my primary weapons. The flipping sticks were. So I started out flipping, for the first hour or so. Went back in the back of the coves, flipping shallow docks, flipping shallow trees in the water, just typical shallow flipping. I did that for probably, I don't know, probably over an hour. Didn't have a bite on it. Just didn't feel right. It's like I couldn't not get any bites. And it's like, at this point, I'm still committed to the docks because I just figure it's a matter of just fishing enough docks, and I'm going to get 5 bites. So about an hour and a half into that morning, I was in the back of this cove flipping docks, and I'm working my way out of the cove there, and there was a rocky bank between 2 docks that was probably, I don't know, 50, 75 foot long, something like that. So I picked up that crankbait that I had, that Megabass S-crank square bill crankbait, and I just throw it down that rocky bank, and the water's muddy. The water's visibility is like 3 inches. And I cranked that thing down right on the bank there and caught a nice keeper, about a 2.5 pounder. And I didn't think much about it because I'm still focused on docks at this point. So I went back to flipping docks. I just thought that was a random fish that was up there chasing a perch or something. Went back to flipping docks for probably another hour without a bite. And then the same thing, I was working my way back out of this cove, and there was a little rocky bank, and I picked up that crankbait again, caught another keeper, just a small keeper. So that gave me 2. So I got thinking, it's like, okay, I'm not ready to just like completely abandon this crankbait, but I've got to start throwing this crankbait more on rocky banks. So my next 2 or 3 stops, I went to rocky banks. And the first one I went to, fished it for probably 15, 20 minutes, not a bite. Second one I went to, fished it for probably 10 minutes, not a bite. Third one I went to, I caught a 4.5 pounder. So now I've got a good fish, two decent fish, a big one and a decent one and a keeper, and they've all come on the crankbait. At that point, I've still got like 3 hours left to fish in the day, and I said, okay, I'm going to make this commitment. I'm going to pick up this crankbait, and I'm going to run this type of water with the crankbait. So I started looking specifically for the type of bank that those 3 fish came off of. About an hour later, I caught my 4th one, another nice one, 2 3/4 pounders. So now I got 4, need 1 more for my limit, and I'm running around looking for that same type of water. Found another stretch like that with about 30 minutes left to fish, and caught my 5th keeper, another nice one, about 3 pounds, which gave me a limit. So, and ran in and eventually won the tournament. So this is what I'm talking about, how you put together a good day on the water, is you have got to give yourself the opportunity. So one of the things that you always want to do is when you're putting your rods out on the deck, you have one side that is like your bread and butter. The one side where your rod's out, 3 or 4 or 5 rods or whatever, is how you think you're going to catch them. This is important. On the other side of the boat, you want to put 3 or 4 rods there about things that are going to give you an opportunity, that you may not have got a bite on it, but something just in your mind says, this could possibly work. It's like, there may be a situation where I just make 5 casts with this bait, but I might catch a critical fish with those 5 casts. So you got your opportunity side, which has not manifested yet, and then you have your meat and potato side. And this is how you develop a good day on the water, is you stay with what you think is going to work, but you have to give yourself the opportunity to see if something else is working. So let's say, for example, in the tournament yesterday, if I would have just had 4 flipping sticks on the deck, I would never have given myself the opportunity with that crankbait to win the tournament, because I didn't have that option. So give yourself options. Try to figure out what you think are the high percentage techniques, and then try to figure out what are the low percentage techniques that could possibly work. And then that gives you an opportunity to capitalize on something. Because sometimes you're out there, and let's say, for example, you got a spinnerbait on your opportunity side. That spinnerbait may not work unless it's cloudy or windy, and then all of a sudden you got the spinnerbait on the deck of the boat. You haven't made a cast with it all day long, and then finally, like at 1:30 in the afternoon, the clouds roll over, it gets a little bit cloudy, and maybe the wind picks up to 15 miles an hour, and then you pick that spinnerbait up and throw it on a little windy, shady bank and catch a good fish on it. That's what I'm talking about. So good bags happen incrementally. They don't happen all at once, and most of the time there's not a plan that goes with it when they do manifest. So anyway, guys, hope it helps you out. We'll talk later.